Have you ever stared at a smoke detector and thought about how simple its job actually is? It doesn't put out the fire. It doesn't investigate who left the stove on. It just senses danger and sounds the alarm. When it comes to child welfare, you are that smoke detector. Whether you are a healthcare provider, a therapist, or a concerned community member, the state relies on you to act as the early warning system for children who might be in danger. But that system has a massive gap. This chart shows the estimated percentage of child abuse cases that go unreported nationwide. 70% of these cases are never called in. This usually happens because adults feel they need absolute proof before making a call, or they worry about disrupting their relationship with a family. To close that gap, we are going to walk through the 3 specific legal categories of maltreatment. We will look at the physical and behavioral red flags and define exactly when you are legally required to trigger the alarm. Your goal here isn't to play detective. By learning a few basic warning signs, you can step in quickly and ensure trained professionals get the chance to keep a child safe. Let's start by looking at this 3-column breakdown of the law. The first category is abuse. Abuse is defined as active harm inflicted on a child. This includes non-accidental physical or emotional injuries, cruel behavioral modifications, or any involvement in human trafficking. The middle column outlines the second category, neglect. Neglect happens when a caregiver fails to provide necessary care. That means an absence of basic supervision, failing to provide a safe living environment, or withholding required medical treatment. The final column is dependency. This applies when there is a total absence of a caregiver. The child has no parent or guardian available to care for them, and the family lacks any alternative arrangement to keep the child safe. Notice the distinction between these columns. Abuse is an active, inflicted harm. Neglect and dependency are passive. They are harms of omission, where adults fail to provide what the child needs to survive. Understanding these legal distinctions helps you identify the specific type of smoke a child is exhibiting. If you can categorize the situation correctly, the state can deploy the exact resources that family needs, whether that is emergency protection or community support. So what does that smoke look like in practice? Physically, you want to look for unexplained burns, bites, or broken bones. A common red flag is fading bruises located in non-prominent, fleshy areas of the body, like the inside of the biceps or behind the knees. Behaviorally, the child might show sudden, drastic changes in their school performance. They might appear hypervigilant, always watchful as if preparing for something bad to happen, or physically shrink away when adults approach them. The warning signs extend to the adult caregivers, too. If you ask a parent about a child's physical injury, and they offer a conflicting story, an unconvincing excuse, or zero explanation at all, you need to pay close attention. Other behavioral red flags include a caregiver describing the child as entirely evil or burdensome. They might use exceptionally harsh physical discipline or simply show zero concern for the child's daily well-being. A single one of these signs might just be a bad day, but when you observe a cluster of 2 or more of these indicators, you cross a threshold. That cluster tells you the child is carrying a dangerous, invisible weight and requires outside intervention. For most citizens, reporting to social services is enough, but the law places an elevated, specific dual reporting responsibility on physicians, healthcare providers, and medical facility administrators. This elevated duty is activated by specific medical triggers. If you are treating a minor for a severe non-accidental physical trauma, a gunshot wound, or poisoning, the standard reporting rules change. This flowchart illustrates the dual reporting mandate. When a severe medical trauma case comes through the doors, the path splits into 2 simultaneous requirements. You must immediately notify the Department of Social Services, and you must also notify local law enforcement. There is zero time built in for hesitation. The mandate requires you to make these reports as soon as practicable, whether that is before, during, or immediately after treatment. You do not wait for internal committee approvals to make the call. By placing this mandate on healthcare providers, the system ensures that the most severe, life-threatening instances of abuse instantly trigger both protective safety nets for the child and criminal investigative resources for the perpetrator. The exact legal phrase that triggers your mandatory duty to report is reasonable cause to suspect. That phrase applies to professionals and private citizens alike. Think back to our smoke detector. Having reasonable cause to suspect means you only need to catch a whiff of smoke. You do not need to see the flames bursting through the drywall. You do not need absolute, undeniable proof to make a call. You do not need a confession from the abuser. You just need a reasonable concern based on the signs you have observed. When you sound the alarm, you are simply triggering an assessment. Trained professionals take over to determine if a full investigation is needed, or if the family is just struggling with poverty and needs community support resources to get back on their feet. As long as you make your report in good faith, the law grants you complete immunity from liability. Sounding the alarm is a legal duty, and it is a moral imperative to deploy the safety net for a child who cannot ask for it themselves. Now that you know when to sound the alarm, you need to know exactly how to do it. In our next video, we will walk you step by step through what happens when you pick up the phone to report and how to navigate your client relationships after the call is made.